If you have ever looked at your business bank account, your QuickBooks, or your sales revenue and still been confused about what's going on, this video is for you. I work with women-led businesses like salons, med spas, and service-based businesses to bring financial clarity to your numbers. That actually brought me to this method that I created to help you regain control of your business finances. It is called the 3C CFO Method, and I've actually used this time and time again on my business that I have, a hair salon. So let's get into it. Phase 1 is going to be all about clarity. You cannot have clarity over something that you do not understand. And the best way to start to understand something is to actually start reviewing it. We need to have an understanding of the revenues that are coming in versus the expenses that are going out. And I know what you're going to say. I've got time to look at that down the line. But here's the thing. If you don't intentionally plan to review your numbers, you're never going to gain clarity, control, or confidence. This is not one of those things that you can just push down the line, because the longer that you refuse to look at it, the more anxious you will become. So back to clarity. Clarity looks like understanding your revenues that are coming in and your expenses that are going out. I want you to fully embody and understand what the numbers are saying about your business. It's also understanding that cash does not equal profit. Cash typically is going to be explained as all of the revenues that you have coming in. Profit is going to be all of the money that you actually get to keep in your pocket. Why this is such a big contributor for the women that I work with is because they don't have a problem bringing money into their business. It always feels like they have a problem with keeping money in their business. That is what I'm here to help you with. We want more profit and more stability. Clarity is going to be your answer of understanding what your business is actually doing, how you're performing financially, and if it is able to survive in the long run. If you're feeling like you're just living paycheck to paycheck essentially in your business, how do we get you from that feeling to thriving and like you're actually able to grow into a sustainable, profitable model of business? That brings us to phase 2, control. With control, we are getting intentional about what we're doing with our business finances. Now that we understand where we stand and we understand the ins and outs of the cash flow in our business, we can start to control what comes in and what goes out. This looks like planning instead of reacting. It's like creating a budget, and the budget does not have to be restrictive. You can plan a budget that incorporates the expenses that you want to keep. I would like for you guys to think of budgets instead of them being restricted, but let's start thinking of them as a tool. This is our financial tool to help us get from chaos to confidence. That brings us right to the third C, which is confidence. Now that we have an understanding of the ins and outs of our business when it comes to cash and expenses, and then we've gained control with the budget that we have, planning with intention, and not reacting, using budgeting as a tool. Confidence comes from being able to make faster, better decisions because we understand where we stand financially. We are able to start paying ourselves without guilt because now that we know how much money that we have coming in and how much money that we have going out, and we've budgeted, we're able to budget our owner's pay into that model. And lastly, it looks like investing in your business without feeling guilty. A lot of the time, the guilt comes from not having a clear understanding of what this investment might look like for the business as a whole, for our employees, for my future. But when you have strong clarity and control over your numbers, you can make almost any decision with confidence and know that even if the decision does not go the way that you expected, have enough control in your budget to protect yourself. Confidence actually comes from doing. It comes from having the clarity plus the control, and that repetitive method is what is going to build your confidence in your business finances. I have a hair salon, and when we first bought the hair salon, I absolutely could not understand the revenues and expenses. I didn't understand why some months were great and why some months were slow. And at the end of the day, most of the expenses didn't change. So I had to actually use this 3C method in understanding the revenues that were coming in versus the expenses that were going out. And what truly helped me after understanding that was creating a budget that was intentional. I needed to understand what it was that we could spend our money on, what are areas that we needed to cut costs, and how we can grow sustainably. And then lastly, like I said, confidence comes with that. Now that I have an understanding of the money coming in versus the expenses going out, I have a budget, so I know how much we're intending to spend every single month. Now I have control over the direction I want the business to go. And just a little nudge here, we've actually grown the business 25% year over year just by using this 3C method, and able to put a great foundation down for a sustainable and profitable future. If this is something that really resonated with you, I've created a free 3C method template that will help walk you through clarity in your business, controls in your business, and the steps to get to the confidence phase. This is exactly what I work with all of my clients on now. And if this is something that sounded like it will be helpful to you, I would love for you to subscribe, as I always feel like sharing the knowledge is wealth for all of us. And I hope to see you again in the next video.